Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the YCREW Pod. I'm sure you're surprised to see me here once again, but I'm back. I've been off for quite 2 weeks, but I'm back and with a bang. I know they say dynamite comes in small packages, but today we have a big package with a big amount of dynamite, and his name is Gaston Parker, guys. We welcome him. Yeah. So, Gaston, nice to have you here. It's been a struggle to get you here. You were busy, man. But obviously, due to time, you've came in favor of us and to welcome us back into the podcast scene. So, Introduce yourself to the people who's watching, man. Who are you?
Perfect. Before I get into that, I first want to say thank you so much for hosting me
Thank you.
having me here, and the ability, obviously, to take out of the experience I have and to be able to share it on the YCREW. The YCREW has been an important part of my life growing up. I grew up in the YMCA itself, so I'm not going to sit here and take credit for what happened in my life, but I have to give it back to what my roots is about the Y. A bit about me. I'm Gaston. I am a dynamite. If you look at the size of my head, it's huge. So I can speak a lot. But what's important is I'm from Athlone. I come from Silvertown. I got a typical story, like you know. I was brought up by my mom. Crazy story. I was about 3 and I pushed my father's car and I never got to see him again. And that was kind of tough growing up like that. But my mother was my mother and my father. And I think many of your audience can relate to that because it's one of those typical stories. But while growing up, I had the privilege of having a grandmother there. I have 2 older brothers, Marlon and Amazon, and then I have a younger sister. And growing up wasn't easy. It wasn't an environment where encouragement was as much as it is today, or where all the tools that we have to actually excel and
It's
grow.
so accessible, yeah.
Yeah, so today if I look at young people, I don't see the need for anyone to go through whatever I had to go through, because with us it was more about trial and error, and usually trial and error meant that there was a lot of things perceived as failure. However, I'm one of those people I was never comfortable just being what society said I should be. And if you look at my skin color, not that that's important, but my father is a white man and my mother was colored, so there was a lot of fun made of me because you're
in between.
I'm in between and I stand out and I got hair on my hands and I'm like Wolverine and I'm a gas tank.
That's a lot of names.
Yeah, so growing up was kind of tough. I'll tell you another fun fact that no one knows. This is embarrassing.
Give us, entertain us.
But I was actually squint. So I as nice as my eyes is today, praise God, I was squint. So the main nickname I had was Skill Putt. Yeah. So
my word, that's such a horrible name to call someone.
Exactly. So I saw when there was you, I see 2 of you, and I always had to decide who is the 2.
Who is the one?
Yeah. So even when I was in a fight, if I hit the wrong one, like okay, that's not it. So growing up was pretty crazy for me.
Which area did you grow up in, Gaston? Just so that we have more context.
So specifically, I grew up in Silvertown. So I hope your audience know Golden Dish.
Yes.
And so if you know Golden Dish, I was right around the corner from Golden Dish. Grew up pretty poor. My mother was the only one working. I'll tell you some fun facts. I always won the ugly house competition in the road. You know how young kids is.
Ugly house competition.
We never had paint.
You sound like you went through a lot in your childhood.
Yes, I did.
I promise.
But here's the bad thing though, and I wonder if some of you people can go with me on this, but when you're going through that, you don't know any better, so you don't know you're having a hard time. You don't know.
You think it's normal.
Yeah, so we never had running water. So when I used to put on a tap at my home, you could run around our block twice. And then luckily you'll have half water. Electricity in my home wasn't something normal. We had this old school toilet. We call it buitekant toilets. I'm not sure if you still have that. But if you go to the toilet, it's a very cold thing. So financially, my mom did her best, tried her best, and did her best for us. Yeah. But at the same time, there was a whole lot of struggles and stuff to overcome as a family. I'll tell you another fun fact. We had so much sand in front of our home that the day they removed the sand is the first time I realized that we had a step.
Oh my word.
Because the sand was so high that the step wasn't even visible. So growing up, yeah, it was tough. We lived off a pension first of my mom, my grandma. And yeah, I think it's the precedent for what, even primary school. I'll tell you another cool thing, and I'm making a lot of jokes, but I remember going to school and everyone would have something different to eat all the time, man. But when someone wanted peanut butter and bread, they said, "I guess peanut butter."
Because that's the only one.
That was my staple for 7 years. Like, there was never. So I always watch people get excited about going to the bread bins.
Yeah.
But when I did that, I knew, like, okay.
Yeah, it's peanut butter and bread.
The only difference would sometimes be whether it's white or brown bread. So that was the excitement. And then high school was pretty tough because my mom then lost a job.
Jeez.
So then
that must have set you guys back.
Big time. And I think in actual fact, I like we would say, get uitgerafel. You know, I kind of lost grip of life. You come to high school, the peer pressure of looking good, being dressed well. I never went to any casual wear days because that just didn't exist in my lifestyle.
That's hectic.
And
that's hectic.
I kind of needed to fit in. So, you know, you start with cigarettes and you start bumping up the kind of stuff that you were doing. But I realized today that I only did that to fit in so that I'm not someone that they make fun of. When people bunk, not that I wanted to do that, but you start doing that so you have acceptance.
Sense of belonging.
Exactly. So high school wasn't pretty good for me because I had to jump from one school to another because of trying to fit in to be like everyone else instead of being who I really am.
How did you come out of that space of where like you wanted to fit in? What happened? What was the key factor there?
I think if I can be honest, and I think this podcast is only about that. So for me, I'm not a religious person, but I am spiritual.
Yes.
And for me, I think it was around grade 9 where I was on drugs, and I had an experience where I actually opened up to my mom and said, "Yo, mentally I'm not feeling well and stuff." And my brother, praise God for him, he said, "Yeah, before you take him anywhere, I just want to have a conversation with him." And he obviously led me to God, and I found Christ. And that really changed a lot in me.
Amen.
Because I understood that the only way for me to ever excel is to be the true version of me.
Of you.
So I think in the Bible, and I don't want to go all spiritual, but something easy to understand is to say that God knows the plans He has for you, to prosper you, not to harm you, and to give you hope in the future. Yes. But when He says that, He says it to Gaston, not the Gaston who I'm pretending to be. Not the Liam that we pretend to be. So that is when the first authenticity came out in me, the authentic me came out. Something funny though, I went from being one of the guys who's nasty at school, tripping the foreign exchange students and throwing them wet, and I went on to head up Christian Union at school.
Yo, that must have been...
It was crazy, and then I started standing up for where I was a bully before. I started standing up for the Christian guys, and we grew the Scripture Union from 3 people to about 60, and we got to find so much other young Christian people that was at school, and so that was a fundamental change in my life.
And that's not things that's happening in high schools that you see, like people actually engaging in Christ, because like when I was in high school, I mean, like it wasn't as, we never used to have open conversations about Christ like this. And like for it to happen in your high school, it's actually crazy to me. Like, You
know, and maybe I put this to you. Did you ever go and see if they had that? Because I didn't know it exists.
No. So probably the fault is by me. Yeah.
Exactly. So doing that helped me also a lot in terms... it also helped me a lot. You can decide when you're gonna...
No, we can go on. Let's go on.
So what it also helped me a lot with was the ability to be a leader, but without being a leader.
Okay.
I'll tell you a key thing. You might think that many people need to speak to you for their lives to be changed, but what I found out at a young age was that people just seeing how different Gaston was meant that we had some of the craziest guys start coming to to a Christian Union. And when they come in there, you're like, what are you doing here? We thought they're coming there to make fun of us. But then you like just found out that there's so much people who's hungry and want more.
And they also going through something.
And they're also going through something. So that was a catalyst for me. For change, yeah. And if I must put it down to a single moment, it would be the 30th of October, 2000. So
you save the date.
Yeah,
you save the date.
Yeah. That's the exact date. Yeah.
That's interesting. So we are gonna go into the actual topic that we want to speak about and why we have you here. You spoke a lot about it before this, and it's actually failing forward.
Yeah.
And I think when I first met Gaston, guys, I just came out of high school. I was fresh out of high school. They introduced me to be a youth intern. I was like, I'm ready for it. Then I met Ryan, and then I met Gaston, and I was like, this is the most bubbliest person I ever met in my life. He came to me, he told me he has big plans for the organization. This is where we're going forward and everything. And when I met him, he was such a positive person. I know Carlton came back from Norway.
Yeah.
Carlton was
very
also
hurt.
very hurt.
Very hurt.
Gaston used to like,
you can't edit that out, huh?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I'm not going to.
We don't edit that out.
But Gaston had such amazing plans for me, and like I was also like, I didn't get good marks in my matric, so I had to rewrite. When Gaston immediately came into my life, I felt like a bit of a failure. And failing forward. Guys. Gaston is going to share with us how you can fail forward. The experience that you're going through, it's not the end of it. And how can we fail forward? So Gaston, your story is extremely powerful. So how did you fail forward? How did you become the man you are today?
And first of all, I just want to say that I don't consider myself yet to have attained anything. I'm still pushing.
Amazing.
I'm pushing on.
That's amazing.
Full on. So when I sit here as a normal person, as anyone who listen. Yes, I had some cool experiences. I got to do amazing things. However, I still feel like there's still a whole life in front of me. But I just want to catch on to what he said. When I met him, his haircut wasn't cool.
Yo.
He never. So let me just put that out there. He was a young boy coming here, and he has these two guys telling him about all these things and what we can see in his life and what we believe for him. And I remember an instance where we took him up to Rose Memorial.
I remember.
And that was such a crazy moment, because when you're in the street, and this will latch on to the failing forward, when you're in the street, you can hear all the sounds, you hear the buses, you can see people being robbed and whatever's happening in our communities. However, when you change your vantage point, when we took him a bit higher, all we could see is the beautiful lush trees. You could see how beautiful life is from there, and that's exactly what failing forward looks like. Means. For me, the thing I find with young people today, and I'm not generalizing it, but I feel like people is so scared of making moves because they are scared to be labeled as failures.
True.
You know what I've realized, and here's the truth. Most of the experiences or anything I've learned wasn't learned on a mountaintop. It was actually learned when I was in a valley in my life. And
when you were struggling.
When you were struggling, exactly. So even on high school, I wasn't bad at attending. I was doing my own thing. However, when I went to college, I understood how to do college properly based on what was happening in high school. Because at high school, I learned how not to go to school. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, in our lives, we will come up.
Oh, I actually caught that now. Like, I took time to sizzle that in my brain.
That's a trip, huh?
But yeah.
But that's important for us, because in our lives, in our daily lives, we all know what no means. So if you don't have a car right now, it means that you know. If you're not successful right now, no. If you have a business idea and you're not moving forward with it, you know what no means. So if you already know what no means, what is stopping you of changing that no into a yes? Yeah. Because even if someone says no to you, it doesn't change your life, because you're already living in the no. I don't have. And
you can only move forward.
You can only move forward. And I will tell you a quick story, and it will go on to, currently we are running learnerships.
Yeah.
So our learnerships is basically we're looking at the unemployment market, and we leverage that off with skills development for young people.
Okay.
We then train them personal development, career development, and we train them how to ride motorbikes. We get them learners, license, and then we plug them into job opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Now, the only reason why this is happening now is because about 2-3 years ago, we actually had someone that approached us and told us, can I write up a program? And we wrote up the whole program. I was
You
near.
guys now?
Yes. So I wrote out everything itself here. Even the content, everything was done by myself and the team.
Yeah.
I have a co-founder, which is Gaston Parker, and that's my wife. So it's brilliant. I get to do
So you guys work.
hand in hand
Hand in
together,
hand.
which has been perfect. She's a real pillar, a real strength in my life. So what happened is we wrote up a whole program, and it was at the last sign-off. And then these people, they came and they wanted to change the deal.
Jeez.
And what happened is it meant that the program is not going further. And I felt like a failure.
Yeah.
And for 3 weeks, I was sulking. I was feeling bad. I was thinking, why would I
would this
do
happen
all
to
this
you?
work?
Yeah.
It took you about a month and a half to come up with this. Little did I know that in a week after that, I get a phone call and someone calls me and tells me they are looking for a program that could take people from unemployment into employment. And I just happened to tell this guy, I wrote up a proposal. I got implementation plans. I got the
Everything.
content. I even got the slides. I got everything. Can I send it to you and you can see if it works? And his response was, Gaston, this is perfect. We're signing with you. And they gave us a contract immediately. So what seemed to have been a failure a week ago became the very thing that was a success. So there's some stuff in your life that you would go through and do that might seem like a failure at the time, but what you have learned there will be the very reason you succeed.
Yes.
And today I can look at it if we do a class with young people, and our class is about 40 people at a time. We have trained more than 300. Actually, it could be 400. I stand to be corrected in the
These are
last
young
2 years.
people.
Young people, unemployed people, that's previously disadvantaged, never had the skill set, couldn't even sometimes ride a bicycle. Yeah. And today there is people that is earning money through a program that was deemed a failure before. Yeah. And so my encouragement for people or for young people is that if you have an idea, if you want to move forward in whatever you are doing, don't let finance be the thing that keeps you down.
Yeah.
Don't
The passion is there. The
Exactly.
passion is there. It's fueling the action, yeah.
Listen to my background. My background tells you, society would say that, no, this guy...
This isn't going to work.
This guy shouldn't do this. He shouldn't do that. Same like me being married. Being a father. I was afraid of being a father because of what happened with my father. But I have two beautiful daughters. One's on high school and the other one is in primary school. But
Luckily, they don't push your car away.
No, it will never happen.
So,
But I want to say this as a fun fact, though, is that even though that happened with my dad, about 10 years ago, my dad came back into my life. How's that? And
That's great.
the day... Yes. So actually, to be honest, my father's my pastor. To that extent, the same man, which was deemed a failure, became the success story in my life, and as a man that I deeply love, a man that whatever advice he gives me, I follow. And it's that very thing. And I think the failing forward topic means so much to me, because whatever I thought or what society labeled as failure has actually become a success. And my question I would put out to you and the audience is, has the failures in your life proved to have been a failure? That's the question I will put. Like, even if you feel that you have failed, I want to tell you that it hasn't proven itself to be a failure. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And that has been another catalyst.
Thank you, Gaston, for like sharing that story. Audience and everyone viewing this video, has any experience that you have failed in really been like consequential to the fact that your life has gone really, really down?
Yeah.
That's right. And you told me something once. I remember you told me something. You told me you're failing and you feel like you hit the ground, but once you're on the ground, that's the place where you can stand up. You can stand up.
Perfect.
I still remember it to this day.
Yeah.
So like, guys, if you feel like you hit the ground bottom, it can only go up from ground bottom. So please comment, share. Have you heard about Gaston before? Has he? Where have you seen him? Would you like to be part of the programs that he's in? He's even implementing. Are you implementing in?
Yeah,
Any new programs actually?
so currently we are running a mobility learnership, which is exactly what I explained earlier. Where so what little people know is that the mobility sector, the delivery sector, is worth about 2 to 5 billion rand income a year. And so with the influx of, with the rising of unemployment, we saw the opportunity to leverage the opportunity for deliveries.
And the opportunity for
unemployment. And when we merge the two, we obviously do the personal development. We then do career development, where we do project management simulations, financial simulations. So even our training methods is very different. I believe in simulations instead of doing lectures.
Share more about that. What is a simulation?
A simulator. So it's perfect. So for instance, I'll just do an easy one. Last week we were doing career development, and we were looking at how can mobility change your community. So many of the communities don't have access to deliveries, right? So maybe let's say area like Silvertown, Q-Town, or Hanover Park, or Manenberg, or where you're coming from. You can maybe also comment if you do have deliveries happening in your area. So if there's no deliveries happening in the area, we were looking at, so why do you think it's not happening? And they would slot down, and I'll ask them, in your opinion, how do we change this? And many of them came back by saying that upskill people within the community to deliver within the community,
so
and
that's safer for
exactly them. And that will obviously also create an ecosystem with this finance coming in, so you don't have all the robberies happening, and that is one way to change a community. So
that's actually a smart approach. Take it, because you always hear Uber drivers are getting robbed, but it's always out of the area. But if you're in your area,
it won't happen. You'll know how to operate in it. So one of the simulations was that, and we were looking at what opportunities there is. Many people was kind of saying that there is like this brilliant bakery that maybe sits in 4th Avenue, but no one knows about it because there's no access to it. She doesn't have access to a platform in which you can move it. So it's not just a learnership in terms of we train you something and we stamp you and there you go, but it's more for us to take insights of that and how we bring communities together and create an ecosystem, a financial ecosystem around it, so that community can thrive.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So simulations work way better than just lectures. It means you can deal with real situations.
That's actually crazy.
So it is something we're testing, and I also don't know if we want to drop it here, but as know,
we can.
For your audience, anyone watching, we are going to do the exact same learnership. We're looking at kicking off in September. And we'll do the same 3-month learnership with the YCREW in conjunction with them. It obviously means that 41 unemployed youth between the ages of 18 and 35 can join. You don't need matric, guys, so don't worry.
They're always worried about that.
They're worried. You mustn't need matric. No, we're here to empower you. And that will kick off. It does include some stipends, so it's not like you're just coming on your own. We provide first-class training. They get to listen to also other companies, some guys who has been successful in the trade. And so we will do that, but I think we will maybe leave a link. I will maybe share a link below, and they can fill out the Google form if they have interest in it, and then we will take it from there. Exactly, you can register, and the earlier, the better. So that could be something that we can introduce also.
So anyone watching this video, I know you're interested, and I know you have young people in your community that would like to join something like this, and probably they feel like they're failing, they feel like they're in a valley, but we want them to fail forward, and we want them to thrive. So please share the video, like, comment, and take your time to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gaston, for coming to our podcast today. I wish we had more time. We would have had more time if Gaston wasn't such a busy person and trying to organize jobs for our young people in our
community. Let's blame me.
Thank you, Gaston, for coming. It was truly an exceptional. How long was it? Like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, even shorter? Like 23 minutes. Okay, thank you so much.
Maybe we should just do maybe a part 2.
Or
maybe what's best is maybe your subscribers should comment if they want to hear some more stories or maybe some jokes, and then we can see if there's enough people who want to listen to my craziness again.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Gaston. We are out.
Bye.